So, the top story in the news today was the incident that happened on the set of Rust, which is a movie being filmed in New Mexico in which Alec Baldwin apparently discharged a prop weapon and ended up killing the director of photography. I believe her name was Hanya Hutchinson. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation at all. And the director, also Joel Souza, was injured. Not aware of the extent of his injuries, but he has since been released from the hospital. So I've been all over social media kind of trying to educate people, and I feel this might be a better way to do this. I want to inform people as to these weapons that are brought onto set, how they work, and what film crews should look out for in the way of safety, and how to kind of know if things are going well, things are being done the right way. My background, I'm a stunt coordinator, done special effects, I'm a producer. I've also worked as an armorer, weapon specialist, whatever you want to call the title. So I've dealt with prop weapons that fire blanks hundreds of times. My background before that is I'm a former New York City police officer, so my first experience with firearms came with actual firearms, sitting on the line at Rodman's Neck, the police range, and learning how to shoot. So I always treated these prop weapons as actual weapons, and thank God I haven't had any mishaps. But I think it's important to educate people as to how they work and what to look for, to be conscious of the safety involved in it. Now, as far as safety goes, the industry has done an excellent job of kind of policing itself after some tragedies. It used to be a very different industry. So we've had a couple tragedies in the industry, Brandon Lee being one and John Eric Hexum being another. So I whenever I walk to a set where there are firearms, I like to tell the John Eric Hexum story. So this right here, I have some props. This is not a real weapon. So the story was John Eric Hexum picked up a prop weapon off the prop table and said, "I can't believe this director is making me stay late," put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. Now, technology has evolved greatly when it comes to blanks, and we'll go into that. The way they used to do it, they would just take a shell casing. So they used to just take gunpowder and put either wood or newspaper, and then put wax on top of that. And John Eric Hexum picked up this gun, put it to his head, pulled the trigger, and sent it was described to me as a quarter-sized piece of his skull into his brain. And he hung on for a few days, and I heard it was really, really horrific, the whole experience of it. And then after that, we had the whole Brandon Lee scenario, incident tragedy, where from my knowledge, after reading the OSHA report, and what happened was it was a head-on shot with the actor doing a tight shot of the gun, and it was a revolver, so the cylinder was loaded with dummy rounds, plugs, so to speak. And instead of clearing them before they went and did the shot where there was actual gunfire, blanks were put behind it, and those little plugs became actual rounds, became actual bullets, and that's what killed Brandon Lee. Like I said, technology has changed a lot, and thank God it really helps us cut down on any kind of accident. So this is why the whole Alec Baldwin thing is really a mystery, and details will come out. I'm not talking that there's any conspiracy here. I'm talking it's probably somebody messed up and live rounds were brought onto a set, which should never ever happen. And this is what a blank looks like now. Okay, and I'll try and insert some close-up pictures of what a blank looks like. But you see, it's just basically an extended shell casing with a primer, and the top is crimped. Basically, what they do is they take the top of the shell casing and they press it, and they put a little lacquer over it, and that seals the gunpowder, and that cycles the weapon. So the way weapon works is trigger it. The hammer comes down. Okay, it hits the primer. The primer explodes the gunpowder. The round is discharged, and then the force takes the slide and sends it back and chambers the next round. Okay. By the way, this prop weapon is furnished to us courtesy of Cop Prop Rentals, New York. Thank you, Joe, for letting me use this for a demonstration. So the shell casing gets expended, and the new one comes in. So for a semi-automatic weapon, you need a charge. You need a charge to make the slide cycle. Otherwise, you just get a bang, and then you wouldn't be able to chamber another round. You wouldn't be able to fire another round, and that doesn't work for filming a lot of times. So they found a way to actually take, it's an extended casing. It's an elongated casing, and they put the gunpowder in, and like I said, they crimp it. The hammer strikes the primer ignites the gunpowder, and then the round cycles. That is a standard blank. That's what's used nowadays. Now, the issue with this is there's most likely, because this was an old Western, that it was a revolver. So you don't need to cycle the action on it. You can just get by with something that looks kind of like this. This is, I believe this is a... Oh, there's a 44 casing. So this is for a 44 caliber. And the primer gets struck, and then you get a muzzle flash. You get, that flame that shoots out. You get the sound, and the actor kind of, the actors can now kind of improvise, and know that a gun was fired. Most of it is fixed, and most of it is enhanced in post, but it's good to give the actors kind of that cue. Rather than saying bang, you get the sound, and you can react better. So knowing that these are revolvers, there's no need to ever have, there's no need to have the crimped casing, because unless you want a really big gun, really big muzzle flash, but post-production is so cheap now, and it looks so good that there's no reason to do it. But apparently, on the set of Rust, it was a live round used, and I have no idea why a live round would be brought onto a set with weapons. It just makes no sense. Now, I know some armorers do use actual weapons, and they're not modified. I'm not a fan of that. I've actually had arguments on the internet with other armorers about why are they doing this? Why not modifying the weapons? And it's a little complicated, because in order to modify a weapon, you do need a federal firearms license. I believe it's a Class 2 to actually modify a firearm. And they're not easy to get, but any of these people who are professional armorers with that much of a selection, they have these licenses. So it's not that difficult to modify them, so they can chamber a real round. So I can only speculate what happened as to on the set of Rust, but everything I'm reading, it was a live round. It were live rounds that were discharged, and I can't for the life of me understand this. So if you're on a set and you have concerns about firearms, I suggest you walk up to the armorer. Any armorer should be able to assuage your concerns and show you the equipment. Your key grip and your AD should be definitely on top of this and looking to see, what's being brought onto set. They should be inspecting any weapons that come on set. Sometimes they don't know, because they don't have the knowledge of firearms. But your armorer should. Your armorer, your stunt coordinator, anyone in that department should be able to talk to you and articulate what the weapons do, how they operate, and any safety protocols being put into place. So I suggest you talk to them. If you have an armorer who refuses to talk to you, I recommend bringing it to the attention of somebody in charge. I would not feel comfortable being on a set with an armorer who won't actually talk to you and tell you what his job is and what he's doing to keep you safe. So I don't know. It's a tragedy. I hope we learn from it. I hope it becomes a teachable moment. My heart goes out to anybody on the cast and crew there. My heart goes out to the family of the poor woman who was killed. But I don't know how it happened. Knowing the way blanks are and knowing the way these prop weapons operate, I don't know how it happened. I'm really scratching my head, other than it was a live round. And to circle back, I tell the John Eric Hexum story any set I walk on, and I do it with a great degree of drama. And I'm not an actor, but I put as much drama into it as possible because I want people to understand that these are not toys, that you can't just pick them up and play with them. Anyone on my set, if they want to see any of the weapons, I'm happy to show it to them. I'm happy to explain how it works. I'm happy to let them hold it. I never hand anyone a live weapon with a live round in it. A live blank. Let's just put it that way, a blank. I've never brought a weapon onto set that could hurt someone. So I always make sure that I do my due diligence. I do my homework. And there are never any live weapons or live actual bullets on set. One of these never makes its way onto set because it as we see, can result in tragedy. So I like to stress that to any of the cast and crew. And I make sure that the production knows I want to have a safety meeting before we even start rolling. And I want everyone on the crew to know this. All the cast and crew, I want them to know this and understand this. And anytime I hand somebody a prop weapon, I will tell them, this has 2 rounds in it. This has 1 round in it, or this has no rounds in it. And I always tell the crew before we are going to actually fire a weapon that, we are going to discharge 2 rounds on this take. So I want you to really, if you walk on a set and you don't feel comfortable, I want you to stand up for yourself because this could be a tragedy. And I want you to cite this incident that you want to know, you want to feel comfortable, and your armor, it should be their responsibility to make you feel comfortable. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself because you could, or stand up for your crew because you could be preventing a serious tragedy. So I'm going to post this. If anybody has comments, feel free to make them, and I'm happy to respond any way I can. Thank you.